The UFC will close out its greatest year ever at UFC 168 with 2 title fights and a heavyweight bout that features 2 of the top fighters in the division. Travis Browne squares off with Josh Barnett in the night's only heavyweight matchup. A former UFC heavyweight champion, Barnett has won 10 of his last 11 fights and finished 9 of those opponents along the way. Browne is coming off back-to-back wins inside the octagon, capturing the knockout of the night bonus in each of those fights. The Hawaiian native has proven to be one of the most dangerous men in the heavyweight division, as he has ended 5 of his 6 UFC victories within the very first round. In the co-main event, the women's 135-pound title is on the line in what is the most hostile rivalry in the history of mixed martial arts, between champion Ronda Rousey and bitter rival Miesha Tate. The first ever UFC women's bantamweight champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, is undefeated in her MMA career and has won every fight by way of armbar, with no woman ever getting out of the very first round. Her title fight at UFC 168 is a rematch from March of 2012 against Tate. A former Strikeforce bantamweight champion, Tate has compiled a 13-4 career record and won the Strikeforce Women's Bantamweight Tournament in 2010. After several years of trash talk in the media, these 2 combatants will meet at the MGM Grand on Saturday night. In the biggest rematch in UFC history, Chris Weidman will look to defend his UFC middleweight championship against Anderson Silva in the night's main event. The Spider set the record for most title defenses at 10 before losing the strap to Weidman at UFC 162 earlier this year. The greatest fighter of all time, Silva was upset when he was knocked out by Weidman and suffered the first loss of his 7-year UFC career. Silva will try and avenge his loss and regain his belt against Weidman. The champion Weidman is undefeated with a 10-0 mark and was the first man to ever knock out Anderson Silva. After making history in the most shocking victory to ever occur in the UFC, Weidman is determined to prove that it was no fluke and has said he must finish Silva to cement his status atop the 185-pound division. Be sure to watch these fights and the entire main card on pay-per-view Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.